Electrification is now well upon us, and with so many different hybrid and electric powertrains out there, it can be difficult to know which is best for you. My name's Joe, I'm from Howard Hyundai, and today I'm going to be running you through all the electrified options within the Hyundai range, what the benefits are of each, and of course, what would suit you the best. So behind me I have three electrified Hyundais, the first of which is the Tucson, which is a self-charging full hybrid. Secondly, we've got the Bayon in the middle, which is a mild hybrid. And finally, we've got the Ioniq 5, which is one of our fully electric vehicles. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to start in the middle with the Bayon, which is the mild hybrid. So welcome to the Hyundai Bayon, and as mentioned, this one is the mild hybrid. Now, what is a mild hybrid, I can hear you asking? Well, as the badge on the side would suggest, it's a 48-volt battery system that basically takes strain off of the engine by powering electrical components around the car. So it's completely self-charging, so it involves no input from the driver, and it will essentially power things like the air conditioning, the sat-nav, your heated seats, all those kinds of bits and bobs to in turn improve your fuel economy. You should see an increase of anywhere between 2 and 6 miles to the gallon just from having that battery system there. One of the biggest advantages is that you can have it as both a manual or an automatic. So in summary, the Bayon is ideal for people who prefer having a manual gearbox option. It's a great first step into the world of electrification, and you'll notice a nice saving on your running costs. So moving on to the self-charging hybrid, or HEV as some people will refer to it as the name would suggest, it's completely self-generated, so there's little to no input from the driver. It will automatically flick into and out of electric-only driving mode in and around town, depending on how much you're demanding from the engine at any one time. You get an additional 80 brake horsepower, which makes the ride more refined. Obviously, it's a lot quieter as well, particularly when the engine is switched off. The biggest advantage of the self-charging hybrid is the gain in fuel economy that you will see. It can gain anywhere up to 20 miles per gallon, so you'll notice certainly a difference on your fuel bill. Two things worth noting on this option: you can only have it as an automatic, and you can only have it as a petrol option. So one note that's certainly worth mentioning whilst we're talking about the Tucson here today, folks, unfortunately we don't have a plug-in hybrid available around us at the moment, so I thought I'd just give it a little shout out, as it will certainly be something that you're potentially looking at if you are thinking about going electric. A plug-in hybrid has a larger battery pack than the self-charging hybrid. You can choose when you want to go into electric-only driving mode and when you want to come back out of it as well. You've got up to 35 miles of electric-only range, but as the name would suggest, the only way to charge it is by plugging it into a mains outlet or a charger that you might see at a service station, supermarket, car park, those kinds of places. The plug-in hybrid will gain a further 35 brake horsepower, and is a very popular option for people who do most of their journeys in and around town, very short journeys, so they don't even have to switch the engine on, but they've got the backup for when they do go on a longer journey or go on holiday, something like that. You haven't got to worry about keeping it charged up. So to highlight the advantages of the self-charging hybrid, you've got the ease of use, capable of driving in fully electric mode, an even larger saving on your running costs, and it's ideal for people who aren't ready to quite make that step to fully electric. So third and finally, we've got the Ioniq 5, which is our fully electric example for today's video. A couple of things to note about an EV. You will only be able to charge the car via plugging the vehicle in, whether that be to a mains outlet, home charger, or a rapid charger. All three will have different charge times and therefore costs associated with that as well. In terms of running costs, that's where you'll see the biggest saving with an electric vehicle. So obviously if you're driving into a city with a low emission zone like London or soon to be Bristol and Bath, you'll pay no fees going into a zone like that. Your running costs themselves will drop massively. You've got no tax to pay on an annual basis. On a vehicle of this value, you'd normally be looking at in excess of £500 per year to tax the car, so there's a massive saving there. Servicing indeed is much less as well. You've got no oil and filters to change, and the service intervals on the Ioniq 5 are every other year as opposed to every year, so again there'll be a massive saving there, and of course the electricity itself is cheaper than petrol or diesel in the first place. So just whilst we're on the subject of the Ioniq 5 and EVs in general, to be fair, I thought I'd just give you 3 little tips and tricks that you can use to help manage your charge more efficiently. So within the car, you'll have 3 dynamic drive modes, certainly in the case of the Ioniq 5. You've got Eco, Normal and Sport. Each will give you different levels of power and therefore different levels of charge. So obviously Sport will give you the most power and the less miles. Equally, Eco will give you the more miles but with less power. The second one to use is the regenerative braking. So you've got 3 modes which will increase the levels of severity, and then you've also got an iPedal mode in the case of the Ioniq 5. So the higher the level, the more severe the regenerative braking.
Essentially, whilst you coast into a stop or lightly brake in, the electric motor is working in reverse to draw that charge back in as miles that you can use. It won't recharge the car, but it will make the current charge last a hell of a lot longer. Finally, heating and maintenance inside the car. Rather than heating the car up with the air conditioning system and the heater, particularly in the winter months, it's much more efficient to use the heated seats and heated steering wheel to warm yourself and the passengers up.
So to summarise the Ioniq 5, the highlights would be the refined driving experience, all the latest in-car technology, the biggest saving in your running costs, and of course the abundance of environmental benefits as well.
So that just about wraps things up for this video, folks. I hope it's given you more confidence when shopping all things electric. But if you still have any questions, queries or concerns, please do give us a shout and come on in and see us at Howard's Hyundai. Or alternatively, please book your appointment online at howardsgroup.co.uk. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching and we hope to see you soon. Cheers for now. Bye-bye.